Welcome back, everybody, to the Project Files. I know it has been a while since the last episode. I think we're probably 2 months out, maybe even a little bit more, but it has been a crazy couple months. We're going to go into all of that as we kind of go through this episode, but a lot has been happening for me, for my family, and so I'm super excited to get into all of that. So, a few quick little life updates if you haven't seen it on Instagram, or if you're on Instagram now seeing this, kind of wherever you are watching as we go through this. I had another knee surgery that is knee surgery number 7 now. I'm about 2 weeks out, so I'm still on crutches. I've got to be in a brace full time when I'm out and about doing anything and non-weight bearing. It's kind of been a crazy little bit there. Me and Ashley have moved into a new house, so we're back where we both went to high school in Preston. So we've since been moved into a house. We actually moved into the house the day after I had surgery, which was kind of crazy. I wasn't much help at all, but it's been fun. It's been fun to kind of put stuff together. We went on a cruise to Mexico, which was also super fun. And then also, me and Ashley celebrated our 1 year anniversary. And right around that time, we also have kind of been just through some of the craziest things, definitely in my life and hers as well. And it's been a wild ride. So, with that being said, we kind of the craziest thing out of the whole bit is me and Ashley. Ashley was kind of sick and not doing well. She went to the doctor. They were giving her IVs, and they ran some tests, said they would get back to us. Well, that was on a Sunday. So finally, the next Friday, we hadn't heard anything from the doctors. We hadn't heard anything about the results. She still wasn't feeling good, and it was getting worse. So at about midnight, we decided we were going to go to the ER a little farther away. We got down to the ER. They started running tests. So once we finally got to the ER, it was about 1. I fell asleep for about half an hour, kind of sitting there waiting. So did Ashley. The doctor came in and said, "All right, we're life flighting you down. So get ready to go." There wasn't enough time for her to be in an ambulance, and so we'll kind of go into that a little bit more as well. But Ashley was in the hospital for a week straight, not wasn't able to leave even her floor really. We went down to the cafeteria one time, I think. The rest of the time she was up there in her room. So it was definitely a crazy week. But out of everything, kind of some lessons that we learned was that family comes first. Not when it's convenient, not when you have nothing else to do, but family is always number one. Through that whole thing, Ashley was the strength and the rock, and she's the reason that I was able to even get through all of that through the whole thing. We're also going to touch on kind of the new route that Project Mind Muscle is taking, especially on the content side, and kind of how the podcasts are going to work from here on out. We've got a new direction for everything. We still want to focus on the growth. We want to focus on health for ourselves, our personal health, and also the health of others. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. We still love to help you. We still have clients that we're training every day, and it's been super fun. And we're going to keep doing that. We are still about confidence and about becoming better every day. But that being said, there have been some things that I've been wanting to do that I just have kind of been standoffish about and wasn't sure of. So in the upcoming days, weeks, months, years, there's going to be more fun. There's going to be more stories. I'm going to start doing some behind the scenes type stuff on YouTube as well. I'm super excited about that. And we're going to touch base more on struggles, failures, family, community, and it's just going to be more real life. So kind of the whole theme of this episode, kind of getting back into it, but also extending off of what we were talking about before. The last like 15 episodes were all about deep dive into overthinking, and each episode was a segment of that. We're still going to kind of keep that structure, but I'm going to implement some other things as well, some other topics, some other stories, different types of things, just to make it a little more fun, upbeat. I'm super excited about this. I hope you guys will enjoy it too. But anyways, with that, the theme of this one is going to be don't wait for another day. Life can change at any moment. You need to appreciate what is around you and right in front of you, and that family relationships are the ones that matter most, whether that's friends that have become family or your brothers, sisters, mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, wife, kids, family in general. That's the most important thing. So if kind of especially this last month, but last 2 months have really taught me anything, it's that life is too short to spend pretending to be somebody you're not or somebody you don't really want to be. So going forward, that's where we're implementing those new things. I'm really excited to show you guys the whole me, not just part of who I am and what I'm about. So, with that being said, let's get into what good. So, what is what good? This is one of my new parts that I'm super excited about introducing because the world already shows a lot of what's bad, what's going on here and there that needs to be fixed or needs to be adjusted. And there's a lot of just bad things going on in the world. So I'm super excited to dive into what's going on good in the world because it's really easy to find the bad, but sometimes it's hard to find the good. So I just want to go over that. So every week we're going to take a few minutes and just focus on what's good. The wins, positive stories, the people doing amazing things, and some of the fun stuff happening around the world along with my own life. So with that being said, let's get into it. So the first thing that is going really good in my life, number one, is that Ashley is alive and Ashley is well. And we are also excited to announce that Ashley is pregnant, and she is now like 24, 25 weeks pregnant and is due in October with a baby girl. So over everything else, that's definitely the best thing that's going on in my life is Ashley is alive and well, baby is doing well, and we are preparing for that as it gets closer. So take that with take that as it will. I'm definitely not going to be ready no matter how much I prepare, but I'm super excited. So that being said, if you've kind of listened to the opening of this episode, you're going to know this life has been a roller coaster. There was a point where literally all that I needed and wanted in my life was for Ashley and was for my baby to survive through the night and make it to the next day and be okay. There literally wasn't another single thing in my whole life that mattered. And it's crazy. So being able to sit here today and say that Ashley is home and well and the baby is good, I'm just beyond excited, and I could repeat that over and over again, but I'm just feeling so blessed and so lucky and grateful that they're okay. And that's really all I can say about that. So right now, that's really what I'm grateful for. But the second thing that's good is we have finally moved into an actual house. For those that don't know or kind of have just been out of the loop a little bit, we have actually been living in a camp trailer for the last 9 months as we've kind of been just figuring this life out. And honestly, it was great. It was an amazing experience. It was kind of crazy with our two dogs. But moving into the house has been awesome. Uh, it's been interesting because a lot of the things that I kind of took for granted before now are like the things I'm super excited for. Like we have a full size bathroom. Like I can shower in my own bathroom. I know Ashley's super excited because we have a dishwasher now, which is something I never really thought about. We just both always had dishwashers. Um, when I sit down to go to the bathroom, my knees aren't hitting the wall, which is super great as well. And I have this space here. I was able to set up my nerdy things. I got my comic books, my action figures, my books. I got Legos. And Ashley is just kind of letting me geek out on this a little bit, and I'm super excited about that. But it feels like a fresh chapter for me, for Ashley, for our family going forward, especially after kind of the craziness of everything. It's been great to get into this space and have more room to do the podcast, have more room with the dogs and with Ashley, and just more storage and kind of all of that. It's fun to be able to like place where things want to go. Like we both have our own dresser now. Before we both had a drawer. Like it's been great. So the new home is awesome. And the last thing in my world that I wanted to kind of talk about real fast is just a quick recommendation. If you're looking for a good movie to watch and you have an hour and a half, 2 hours, go watch Arthur the King. It's about an adventure racing team that ends up finding a dog during their last and final race. I don't want to spoil things. I don't want to dive into it too much, but it's one of those movies that really reminds you why people love dogs so much. And it also made me really grateful for the two dogs that I have. You might see their tails popping in and out as they're out doing their thing, but love them, love both of them. They're amazing. I have an American XL Bully. He's about 110, 120 pounds. His name's Zuko. And then I have a little Yorkie Poo. His name is Cowboy, and he's about 5 pounds. So definitely a big switch between the two. But Cowboy runs the house, and Zuko's just happy to do whatever. But if you're looking for a good movie, go watch Arthur the King. It's great, 10 out of 10. I watched it on Peacock. I'm sure there's other places to watch it, but that's my recommendation. So now for what is good around the world. So I want to start off with something that kind of reminded me that there's still good people out there. So recently in Laredo, Texas, a plane crashed, and as it crashed, it kind of burst into flames. Before any emergency crews could get there, cops, ambulance, firefighters, anybody, ordinary people ran out towards the wreckage and started helping to rescue those survivors. And as I was reading that, there's a big long story you can go kind of check out with that. But I was thinking about it and what I would do in that situation. And a lot of people, I would like to think that I'd be one to go help, but a lot of people, if they saw that, they would be running away from the flames, running away from the danger. But these people ran towards it and because of their actions, the lives were saved. People were able to go home to their own families because of a selfless act from somebody else. And it's super cool because of their actions. This week, the city honored them with what's now being called Laredo Heroes Day. So they actually got their own day, which is super awesome. I love stories like this because the world can sometimes feel like nobody cares anymore and we all feel disconnected. But when things get hard, people really do still show up. It doesn't matter if they know you or not, but people will be there for you. And after everything that's kind of gone on, this one really just hit home for me. Now for our sports story. So one of my favorite things that is in the entire world is soccer, and it's the World Cup. So I can't help but be excited about the World Cup. But one of the cool things that's really blowing up everywhere right now around the world, based around the World Cup, actually isn't the players or the games or the goals or any highlights. It's actually the fans. And if you've watched soccer, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But if not, you need to go check it out because it's super cool. Norway has this tradition called the Viking Row. After matches and even during matches, players and fans get together and do this giant Viking styled celebration. They all are sitting down, they get like this, they bang their drum, and they do a row and they all chant. And they start off slow and they go faster and faster. And the whole stadium's doing this chant. And there's even videos of the other teams' fans doing this chant as well because it's so fun and it just really sets the mood. And in my opinion, this is one of the coolest traditions of the tournament, at least so far. People have been doing it in the stadiums, but also there's a video they took over Times Square, and the whole Times Square was doing it. And there's videos of them doing it in the New York subways as well. So that's one thing I do love about sports, though, is that it brings people together from literally all over the world, from all sorts of different backgrounds, different languages. You might not even be able to really communicate with each other, but especially with the World Cup and soccer, as long as you have a jersey on, you're going to have a connection with somebody. Or as long as you're kicking a ball, there's going to be a connection there, and it's super great. And everybody comes together for the love of the game. There's not political drama that comes into it, and there's not racism that comes into it, and everybody's just united over a simple game. And it's just, I love it. And I honestly think it's something that we need more of in this world. And so now for the fun story of the week. With the World Cup, kind of sticking on that World Cup theme, there's been thousands, tens of thousands, probably even hundreds of thousands of fans coming from all over the world to America to watch the World Cup. So you would think that if they travel here, they'd be talking about the World Cup itself, the games, the players they're watching, the stadiums they're in, because they're playing in the big football stadiums here in America. And the thing they're actually talking about isn't Hollywood or the Grand Canyon or any of those things. And it actually is kind of crazy. One of the biggest things that's attracting people and people are posting about and talking about is Buc-ee's. And if you've never been to a Buc-ee's, basically imagine that a small city and a gas station had a baby. It's just a massive gas station with all sorts of snacks and treats and drinks and everything you can kind of imagine in there. But international fans have been posting videos walking into Buc-ee's and completely losing their minds. They're amazed by all these snacks, by the meals. There's different restaurants in there. There's giant stores, and then there's just a ridiculous amount of gas pumps. And so, kind of just on that note, kind of the funny side of things, imagine flying all the way from Netherlands or Japan or Brazil or wherever you're coming from, and the thing you're excited about the most, or the thing you're taking videos of or pictures of or talking to your friends about, is it's not like telling them, yeah, the soccer's amazing. It's, have you guys seen the size of these gas stations? And that's only an American thing. I feel like that's just a staple of what America's about, really. So now I want to hear from you. If there's anything good going on in your life, message me, comment, DM me, whatever you can. Let me know what's going on good in your life. A big win, a small win, something funny, literally just anything, any good news. And if you want to and you feel comfortable with it, as you message me, as you reach out, I will use your stories in these segments to kind of get it out there, because there's only so much that I know about, and everybody has their own experiences and stories, and it'll be fun to kind of hear from you guys as well. So with that, that is kind of the What's Good section, what we're going to be about. We're going to have new stories every week. I'm super excited about that. Ashley's home and healthy. Baby girl's doing great. We're finally in the house. There's heroes helping strangers. Vikings are rowing through New York. And the World Cup fans are discovering the wonders of Buc-ee's. I'd say that's a pretty good week. So now let's get into this week's project. Every week we're going to dive into a weekly project. And project is one of my favorite words. As you know, this is the Project Files. I am the owner of Project Mind Muscle. We have our different training programs all start with the word project. And I just love it because a project is something you're working on. A project is something you're building and working towards. And so I just like to use that in every aspect of my life, because no matter how much I'm doing, no matter how much good is going on, there's always something I am working on or that I'm working towards. And so I just love the word project. So we're going to have a section here called the weekly project. And it might be something I'm learning. It might be something I'm working on. It's something I'm trying to get better at. But this week's project for me is very simple, and it's being present in the moment. When I say being present, I don't mean sitting cross-legged, meditating, being one with the earth. Like, everybody's present in their own way. But I mean being present in the sense that you're paying attention to what is going on around you in this moment, in this point in time. Not worried about what's tomorrow or what I have to do later. Not chasing the next dream or steps, but focusing on where you are right now. And that's one thing that I'm trying to be better at and work on. Because if I'm being honest, before kind of all of this crazy last couple months happened, I am a chaser. I am one that wants to go out and do the next thing and work towards the next thing and schedule big things and then say, okay, I only have 4 or 5 days until I have this big thing, so I can't wait for it. And while goals are great and having those big things are great, I realized I was spending way too much time looking forward to those things and looking ahead, and I wasn't actually appreciating and I wasn't engaged on what was actually happening in my life in a certain moment in time. One moment I'll never forget was kind of going back to this whole Ashley situation. Like I said, we were there. The doctor came in and said, we've got to life flight you because you have hours. You don't have time to take a 2-hour ambulance ride to this hospital we're transporting you to because we don't know if you'll make it. And it was crazy for me because it literally, before we left, I was debating on whether or not to wear my clothes for work because I didn't know if I was going to be home in time to change. Like, I was like, oh, she's going to get a couple IVs and then we're going to go home and get back to normal life. And so all of a sudden it went from that to we are fighting for minutes to make sure Ashley is okay. And through that whole thing, doctors, nurses, everybody told me that I wasn't going to be able to ride in the helicopter with Ashley. So I was getting instructions, being told where to go. I was packing bag, kind of getting ready to go. And one thing that really stood out to me through that whole thing was there was one guy, I could tell he was with the life flight crew, but he was kind of sitting in the corner, and it looked like he was kind of just playing on his phone, doing his own thing. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I was trying to keep my cool, but I probably looked like a nervous wreck. And this guy stood up and pulled me into the other room and shut the door. And he said, okay, do you have plans? Do you have everything kind of ready to go? Do you have someone meeting you down there at the hospital? And I was like, yeah, my mom and dad and her mom and dad are both meeting us down there at this hospital. I've called them. They're on their way. And he said, okay, so that being said, if you have everything taken care of, do you want to ride in the helicopter with us? And I was like, well, I mean, that'd be awesome, but everybody's told me no, so I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to cause any issues. And he was like, well, give me just a minute. And he went and made some calls, came back and said, all right, let's go put the stuff you need to in your car. You're coming with us. And it was crazy. Like, it was one of the coolest and scariest moments I've ever witnessed in my own life, because they had Ashley on the bed. They loaded her up in there. He gave me the flight instructions, gave me my headset. We hopped in, and we were flying over Logan. And as I was looking down, I could see, everything that I was always used to seeing. But I was way up in the sky, and then pretty soon all the lights disappeared, and we're flying through the mountains. And I'm looking out to the side of me. I can see the stars, different things, and pretty soon the stars disappeared. And then I see mountains rolling, and my pilot flips on his night vision goggles. It was one of the coolest things ever looking back at it. But it was also kind of like an eerie feeling because I couldn't see anything. But we come over the mountain, and I didn't have my phone on. It had been, the flight was like 32 minutes or something. Ashley was in the back. They were keeping me updated on Ashley and how she was doing. But we came over the mountain and we saw the Bountiful Temple. And the pilot was like, hopefully this is starting to look familiar. We're almost there. We've got about 10 minutes left. But we're in Bountiful. And I was like, yeah, me and Ashley actually got married in the Bountiful Temple. And he was like, all right, well, it looks like we're taking a little detour. And he flew down right next to the mountain, turned it so that Ashley could see out the window, turned it so that I was right above it. And we flew right over where me and Ashley got married. And it didn't take away any extra time. But it was just really comforting for me. And I know it was comforting for Ashley too, because in the midst of all that, it kind of just gave us a quick little reset reminder, okay, I'm with Ashley. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be great. And it really stood out to me that the pilot cared enough to do that, to bring us a little sense of comfort. But through the whole flight, like I said, I didn't have my phone. Wasn't getting alerts. I wasn't worried about the other things going on around me. And it, in a sense, gave me a minute to unplug and kind of just really focus on what's going on. And there's a million thoughts running through my head, and I had no idea really what was happening. But at the same time, it was also a moment of I was worried about one thing, and that was my family living through the next night. And it really forced me to be present in that moment because there literally was nowhere else my mind could go. And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes we make is believing that life is going to start later and life is going to start tomorrow, or it's going to be fun once we go on this trip. We always talk about the good old days, and I always hear my grandpa talk about the good old days, or even my parents or friends talk about the good old days, or me and my brothers talk about the good old days. whether it's high school or college or our childhood, or there's a certain memory in our lives. But honestly, these are the good old days. Every day is an opportunity for us to make a memory that we can talk about in 5 years. And looking back at this time, I don't want to be in a stage where I'm wishing I would have appreciated it more. So I've kind of shifted my mindset to I am going to appreciate and make the most out of this moment because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And another thing that I kind of love and kind of like to compare this to is kids. And kids are amazing and incredible at being present in the moment. They're not worried about next year. They're not worried about 6 months from now. They're not even worried about an hour from now because that just feels like it's so far away for them. They're just trying to enjoy what they're doing this very second. And if you even tell them they have to wait 10 minutes for something, they hate it because they just want it now or they want to be playing their game now. And they really don't have a sense of time in a bad way. They're looking for adventure in the moment. And I think somewhere along the way as we grow up, whether it's kind of how we're told to handle things or whether we just kind of lose sight of that, somewhere along the way, I think we lose that and we start focusing on the future and the next thing rather than paying attention to what's going on now. So here's your project this week. I want you to pick one night, get together with your family, your spouse, your friends, your girlfriend, your dogs, whoever it is. Put the phones away, just turn them off, put them in another room if you need to, and just take the night and be fully present in the moment with whoever you're with. No scrolling, no worrying about the email that just popped up, no distractions, just enjoying the moment and enjoying doing what you're doing with the person you're doing it with. That will be a memory that goes into the category of the good old days. And with that all being said, that kind of actually leads us perfect into what I wanted to talk about next, because over the last couple months, I've also realized something with Project Mind Muscle as a whole, and it's that something needed to change. So let's get into today's main file. The whole message of this week is be present, not because productivity is bad, not because goals are bad, but because if you're always chasing the next thing, you're not going to focus on the now. But with that being said, the main file for today is I want to talk about why Project Mind Muscle is changing and kind of how it's going to be changing. There wasn't anything wrong. We weren't having issues. Everything was going really good. But along the way, it kind of stopped feeling like me and what I was about and what I was trying to push towards. I started noticing that, especially during some of the last podcast episodes, it started feeling more like a chore instead of something that I was excited about. And I'm doing this because I love it and because I enjoy it. Half the stuff probably doesn't make sense. And I know there's people that probably don't care to listen to it, and that's totally fine. But I'm doing this because I love talking. I love sharing my own experiences. I love sharing experiences from others. I just love being able to kind of help somebody else if I can. And if I can help one person in one way, shape, or form, then that's all that really matters. But kind of with those last episodes, it kind of felt like I was kind of dragging it on. And I actually did a couple episodes that I ended up just completely deleting because I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like how it was feeling. So when something you care about starts to feel like that, it's usually a sign that something somewhere needs a little bit of attention. So when I really sat down and thought about it and thought about everything I was doing and had been doing and working towards, I realized my favorite parts of Project Mind Muscle and the files and everything that I'm trying to do was never about the things that I thought they were. It wasn't about the content. It wasn't about the views. It wasn't about trying to make more money. It wasn't trying to necessarily build the brand. But really my favorite parts were helping people and having conversations and making people smile. Going to the gym and saying hi to the guy you've seen for the last 2 weeks in a row and just giving him knuckles because you both recognize that you're doing something that you don't have to be doing. Talking to a friend you haven't talked to for a while, or seeing an old family member that you hadn't talked to in a while, an aunt or an uncle, hearing their stories, building those relationships, and making new relationships that maybe wouldn't have been there before. And that really was what I was loving the most out of everything. At some point, I started feeling like I needed to be the perfect coach, and I needed to speak perfectly, and I couldn't stutter, and I couldn't say or like or any of those things. And if I messed up, I needed to restart and redo the whole thing. I felt like I needed to be the perfect trainer and the perfect example. I felt like every post needed to be a lesson, and everything that I was doing or sharing or experiencing, I had to nitpick it and find every little detail that was going to make me look like just the perfect person that had all the answers. And honestly, it was exhausting. I was done. And at the end, part of the reason I haven't done this in a while is because I was trying to regroup and find a way that I could do this in a way that I would love and I would be able to share and enjoy doing, so that in turn it makes it funner for you watching as well. And I'm not perfect. I'm far from it, and I hope you can bear with me as I kind of get this all figured out, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going with the flow. But over these last couple months, it's given me a lot of time to think, because along with all of that other craziness, like I said, I had knee surgery and I'm about 2 weeks out now. And I realized something with all of those big, crazy things happening, and it's that the people I look up to the most, even they aren't perfect. They're real, and they show them their real selves. They make mistakes, they fail, they laugh while they're doing it, they struggle, but they also figure things out as they go. Nobody has the perfect answer for every situation. I think one of the things missing from a lot of self improvement content and videos and everything today is it's the idea that everybody has everything figured out down to a T. There's definitely people that have things figured out more so than others, and we all have our own experiences. But there's not a magical point where suddenly you know exactly what to do in every single situation. Life just doesn't work like that, whether it's with work or family or friends, or even if you're playing a video game, there's going to be times where it's like, what the heck just happened? I have no idea. We're all learning, we're all adapting, and we're all building our own project one day at a time. So even though Project Mind Muscle is changing, the mission isn't. We still want to help people become stronger, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. We want people to become healthier. We want them to be more confident. We want people to become better and best versions of themselves. But like I said, we're going to be doing it a little differently. There's going to be more fun, more stories. We're going to be posting more behind the scenes moments, more failures, more wins, more community. I'm going to have people reaching out, and I'm going to be sharing experiences from others that I've been blessed and grateful enough to help with, and I'll be able to share their successes and their victories, because a win for somebody else is also a win for me in the best way possible. And it's going to be a journey, and I just hope you guys are all right with following me for the ride. So, because at the end of the day, Project Mind Muscle was never supposed to be about me. It's not about just what I'm doing and, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. I want to share the community. I want to share what other people are doing as well. It's a building place. I'm going to show you the things I'm going through, because I hope that through my failures and my struggles, I can help you figure out something in your own life going forward. And I want you to feel like you belong. You're all part of this community. And I want to create a community where we are okay with sharing our wins, or we're okay with sharing our losses. And it's a no judgment zone. Everybody's in a different chapter of their life. And I just want to be able to come together and just be able to laugh and smile and talk through these different conversations, because nobody should have to fight through their own battles alone. And you're not alone. It's just finding the right group of people, because sometimes the wrong groups will actually make you feel more alone than being by yourself at all. So that's what we're about. We're here to help you feel like you're part of a family. And I hope as we're going and as we share these different things that we can kind of get there with you watching. So honestly, if somebody was to come and find Project Mind Muscle in the year 2030, so that's like 3.5 years from now, I want them to feel something. I don't want them to be sold on a product. I don't need them to be impressed, or I don't want somebody to feel like they're being marketed to. I just want them to feel connected and welcome and like they're part of something bigger than just themselves, because that's what this is about. So that's why we're changing. That's why we're adjusting. End goal is still the same, but we're going to do it in a little bit different fashion. Not because we're moving away from the growth, but because we're moving closer to where we were supposed to be the whole time. And it's probably going to change again. That's just part of doing this and building towards something. And speaking of figuring things out as you go, kind of with all of that, there's one lesson from this last month that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. So this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to talk and touch on in the deep end. So one other thing we're introducing is the deep end. It's going to be a quick, just deep dive into a topic or subject. And so this is a part of the show where we go a little deeper into something that's been on my own mind. And honestly, after this month, there's been a ton that has been on my mind. But during the week at the hospital, the thing that scared me the most wasn't the flight, it wasn't the doctor, it wasn't the machines, it wasn't the bills. It was the possibility of losing Ashley and losing our daughter. I had no idea what was going to happen, and for me, and the first time in a long time, there was literally nothing I could do about it. I could literally just stand there and hold Ashley's hand, and that was all I could do. That was the only way that I could make a small contribution to the whole situation. I was sitting there hoping and praying that everything would be okay because there was nothing else I could do. I couldn't go to the gym and work out harder. I couldn't solve the problem. All I could do was be there for Ashley, and it was absolutely terrifying. And I think a lot of us, a lot of the time, for myself, I don't want to speak for others, but I like to think that I'm in control. I like to make plans. I like to set goals. I like to build schedules. I try to organize everything, but then life slaps you in the face and reminds you that some things happen, and a lot of things happen that are completely out of your control. And in those moments, that's where you find out what really matters. Because for me, in that moment, it wasn't the cool new things I had at the house. It wasn't setting up my comic books. It wasn't looking for the next Lego to add to my collection. It was making and praying that my family would be okay. And honestly, with all of that, I think that's kind of what stood out to me. And something I've learned through all of these surgeries as well is that I'm not somebody who likes to sit around and watch TV and just chill all day long. I like doing things. I like building things. I like helping and meeting people. I like making people smile. I like being involved in things. And honestly, I think that's one of the reasons why sports has been such a big part of my life and still is, just watching it even. Sports makes you feel alive, but they also bring people together. And some of my favorite memories from sports aren't even the games, it's the friends that I made along the way. And it's the memories of, oh, this guy was on my soccer team, but we spent hours playing Xbox because we were dreading going to bed because we knew that we would have to wake up and go to the gym at 5 in the morning. Like it, it's all about the memories and the people you find and meet along the way. And I know that kind of sounds like it came right out of a book, but it's so true. And another thing I've been thinking a lot about is becoming a dad. If I'm being honest, I'm super excited, but I'm also terrified at the same time. I'm excited because I get to have a little girl running around the house. I get to teach her things. I get to take care of her. I get to watch her grow up. I hope it goes by super slow, but I'm sure it'll go faster and faster. But I'm just excited to be her dad and be there for her. I I had an amazing dad growing up, and I'm excited to be able to be that same type of individual for somebody else. But I'm also nervous because I grew up in a house full of boys. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I don't think anybody really knows what they're doing at first, but I'm just terrified. But that's part of it. That's part of becoming a parent is you have to learn as you go, just like any other part of life. So one thing that has changed for me in the last month with all of that is my definition of success. A lot of people think success is money, it's a title, it's a business, it's a lifestyle, it's certain accomplishments, it's having trophies up on the wall. And those things are great and it's awesome to have things to work towards. But if success if there's one thing that life has kind of reminded me in the last little bit, it's that success means very little if my family isn't there with me. No matter what I build, no matter where life takes me, no matter how much money I have, I want my family there. I want my wife there. I want my daughter there. I want my brothers there and my parents, and I want my family and friends there to experience that with me. And that's my view of success. No matter what happens, as long as I have my family there and they're safe and comfortable, then that's really all I could ask for. If I could go back even just like a month, 2 months, 60 days and talk to myself, honestly, there's not much else I could say to myself to prepare me for what happened other than buckle up because it's going to be a wild summer. It's going to be the craziest one you've had so far. So just get ready for it. Enjoy the people around you. Appreciate what's going on because life can change really, really fast. I don't know exactly what the next few years are going to look like for me, for project, for my family. I don't know what challenges are coming. I don't know what victories are coming either. But I do know this. It's that the people you love matter more than you think. The moments you're living right now matter more than you think. And one day, the season you're currently in might be one of those seasons that you miss the most. So make the most out of your time right here, right now. Don't wait until it's gone to appreciate it. So this now brings us to the test. And every week, I want to leave you with something simple that you can actually do. Nothing that's super complicated or hard or going to take 3 hours to do. Just maybe a simple action. And this week's challenge is very simple. I want you to reach out to a family member. It could be a text. It could be a phone call. It could be a stop by. Stop. You can stop by and visit and just check in. That's it. That's all there is. I just reach out to a loved one, a family member, a friend that you feel like maybe you haven't talked to in a while or just needs a little extra love or support and see how they're doing. After everything that's happened this month, I've realized how important that is to me and don't take advantage of it because you never know when things are going to change. This challenge probably will mean more to the person that you're reaching out to than it does to you. Like it might be, okay, I'm just going to reach out and see how they're doing. But that text, that phone call, that hug, that handshake could literally change their whole lives. And it could be something that in 10 years, those people are telling their family or friends about. So if you do it, feel free to send me a message, comment on the video, let me know how it went. I genuinely would love to hear those stories. Like I said, I love hearing those happy stories. I love hearing the good things that are going on in the world, and that's just another way that we can make this world a better place, just one smile at a time. And before we wrap up, I've got this week's community question. So I'm also starting a blog, so definitely check that out on our website. It's projectmindmuscle.com. But the question for the week is, what is something that you are grateful for today? Not tomorrow, not later, but today. Whether it's big or small, it doesn't matter. Drop it in the comments. Again, send me a message, let me know, because I think gratitude has a way of helping us see that there really is good around us, even if we really feel like we're drowning in a pool of just bad. As we kind of wrap up this episode, I just want to say thank you for everybody who is watching, everybody who's supporting us and following us on this journey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you are listening, don't forget to like and subscribe because there's going to be more stuff coming out, and I would really appreciate the love and support. And like I said, I'm trying to build a community, and we can't build a community if we don't have you guys helping out with that. This episode was a little different. It was personal, but I also just wanted to kind of do an overview of how things are going to start rolling. Quick life update of everything that has been happening. And honestly, I think this is where this show needs to be. We're going to have fun segments. We're going to have the goofing off. I'll probably have random people in here every once in a while. But it's about real stories and just real growth in general. If if this last little bit has taught me anything, is that life can change really fast. And I know I've said it a million times, but I'm going to keep saying it because you never know. The people you love, the people you love matter more than you think. Don't don't skip out on a hug. Don't go to bed mad. Don't skip out on a kiss. Reach out to that person, because the moments you're living right now really could be the things that you either are really proud of or that you really regret. And I don't want it to be something I regret, and I don't want it to be something that you regret. So be present, appreciate those around you, and don't wait for another day or wait for the right person to enjoy your life. Just enjoy where you're at right now, because you're only going to get it once. And remember, the world does not need the perfect you. It needs the real you, still trying and still smiling. We'll see you next time.